Deron Billups is a 19-year-old hip-hop producer born and raised in Los Angeles, California. He is known for having a diverse sound, yet still manages to keep close to his roots with a cool LA vibe. Having worked with everybody from Chris Brown to more local artists like Dom Kennedy, Deron Billups is just getting started. Matthew Vance has his story.
Deron Billups comes to the door and greets me with a charming smile and a deep hello. Walking in, the sounds of light violin chords are playing repeatedly on his computer as he guides me to a small room in the back of his suite. He begins by describing where he is from.
I live in between Compton and Gardena, so I do live in the slum area, you would call it. But it's not too bad. Growing up there gives you a lot of influence and things like that to, to motivate you to do something positive.
Los Angeles is notorious for having a serious gang problem. However, unlike most boys his age, Deron never felt pressured to answer to the local street code.
Nah, I never felt pressured to join in the gang. Well, for two reasons. One is because that's just not me. I'm not going to be influenced by something that's, not even dominated my life into me being who I want to become. So they're no influence to me at all. And second of all, a lot of those people are my friends. Like, not like friends as in like somebody that they not depend on type friend, but if I need a little protection, if anything go wrong, stuff like that, like, I'm always in the hood because that is where I live. I'm not going to say I'm not going to be in the hood because I'll be lying if I said that, but, I'm not influenced by the things that they do.
Although he kept out of the streets, he was unable to keep out of trouble. One normal afternoon in his 8th grade year, Deron was involved in a shooting.
My 8th grade year was probably the worst year of my life. Living in LA is crazy, but where I am, the way our hoods are set up is sectioned off differently. Literally across the street can be a different gang, and not necessarily be another Crip gang or a Blood gang or whatever it may be. It might be the same gang, just a different hood, and they might not get along. So what happened, I live in a Blood neighborhood, and across the street is another Crip neighborhood, and they just don't get along at all. And long story short, me and my cousin were at the basketball park that's over in their so-called territory. And we was playing basketball, and next thing you know, it's yelling back and forth, and all I see is something shine, and I just see this dude just pull out, and next thing you know, my homies start breaking, so we're running, and I saw him drop. I wanted to stop, turn around, but I was like, I know I can't right now. I'm running, and as I hop a fence, I get shot in my arm, and I didn't even feel it. I just got carried with it, hopped over, ran to behind this tool shed, and I looked down, and I realized I was a little woozy. I saw a trail of blood, and I don't know where I got the courage from, but I just got up, ran home. My mom rushed me to the hospital. But yeah, it was all over gang violence.
When asked about how this event has affected his life, he responds proudly, acknowledging the fact that what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, and that you have to keep going.
My view on life is, around that, just, you got to keep fighting and struggling. I mean, it's going to always be the people around you, but you just got to just push through and shine.
Around this time, his uncle, who was also musically oriented, blessed him with the tools that would ultimately unwrap Deron's potential as a musician.
I got into beat making through my uncle. My uncle used to make beats. He had a record label called Funk Asylum back in maybe the late 90s, and he gave it up, for other dreams, He had to give us aspirations. He had kids. And he gave me his Roland MPC 2000. And I just played with that from the beginning, and I was just making drum patterns, drum loops, and from there it took off to being something different.
Los Angeles hip-hop is known for having a distinct, laid-back, smooth vibe to it. However, Deron says that he doesn't draw any direct influences from the West Coast. In fact, he cites Southern trap music as the main influence on his beats.
Well, musically, my biggest influence are, surprisingly, because listening to my sound of music it doesn't really sound that way, but I'm inspired by Southern trap music, so a lot of like Gucci, Waka, not really the artists themselves, but the producers behind them. So actually, Shawty Red, Polo the Don, producers like that of that category.
Although he had good things to say about them, he paid the highest compliment to Chicago native Kanye West.
Kanye, of course, he's a genius. He's a musical genius. I wouldn't call him the world's best lyricist or anything like that, because that would be giving too much, but he is a musical genius.
Billups is able to express himself in many different ways, not only through his music, but visually as well, through the tattoos covering his whole right arm.
Tats to me are my way of expressing myself visually. I like to express myself through my music. That's why, my music gives me, that's why I don't have one unique sound. It goes all over the place because it depends on how I feel that day or when I was making a beat. But tattoos, I love them. I have a full sleeve on my right arm, It's all music. Music, music is me. That's all I like to say. Some people say that it's cliche and it's corny, but no, honestly, music is me. Music helped me get through, me getting shot when I was younger and going through deaths in my family and other, moments in my life. So music is really me, and I have on my arm, music is my drug with a syringe in the middle, because music really is my drug. It's what calms me down. So
after going through so much in his life at such a young age, Billups refuses to give up. He keeps working very hard. So hard, in fact, that he caught the attention of Interscope Records, the same label that molded artists such as Eminem, Dr. Dre, and 50 Cent into gods of the hip-hop world.
Right now, I'm working on this new, I might end up leaving here and going back home, doing a 5 instrumental tape with Interscope, and it's going to be a contemporary R&B album. I love R&B, but I'm not like the biggest fan of it. Listen to it like daily, but for some reason most of my best beats are R&B influenced. So I'm doing a contemporary R&B album. To give an example of what that's like is newer R&B art nowadays, like Frank Ocean or The Weeknd, stuff like that, like contemporary R&B. So I'm working on stuff like that right now.
The future is bright for Deron Billups. When asked about what he hopes people get out of his music, he responded humbly. He hopes people just hear it and relate to it. It's not about the fame or the money. It's about the music.
My music is a little different, but a lot of people vibe with it, but my music all comes from a place, deep within. I like to make beats that are influenced by my emotions. Normally time I make a beat, I'm normally, influenced by something that happened that day or a story that popped up in my head that I remember about, a reflection, anything like that. So normally I try to put my actual emotions to my music. So, if you ever, give it a try. If one day I do make it big, I hope you support it. If not, even if you legally download it, I don't care. Just support the music. Just as long as you get to hear, my side of the story, and if you vibe with it, I'm happy.
And vibe with it we will. This is Matthew Vance, Marist College.